Okay, looks like this is the worst that it's ever had. What's happening, I'm not sure, is that the um, the software, the broadcasting software is just crashing, and that's what's causing this. So thank you so much for coming back, everyone. I really apologize. This has to be the craziest live stream ever. Tim's crazy live stream. That's what this is basically going to be called. Am I right? So I am just going to continue, and we're going to have tenacity, and we're going to fight through this. And everyone who continues to join me in this, I just have to say I'm really thankful for everybody for putting up with all these technical difficulties. Honestly, uh, really appreciate it. So I am going to go ahead and just edit the link here. It's just going to be one quick moment, and okay. So if on Facebook the link is going to be correct, so anyone who someone who can't get on or anything, that's a good way to get them going. So it looks like we're in good shape, and we have 7 people back. So thank you so much for coming back, and let's go ahead and continue working on this. So like as I was saying, this is the Extreme Patriot Arrow, the customized version, and you can see, as Mr. Mike said, it is a that's true. Something's happening today. So this is definitely a micron killer, as Mr. Mike Deloche definitely said. Um, so everyone made it back. That's so great, and it is a conspiracy. I'm showing my new website, and you know, talking about this airbrush, which is a fraction of the cost of a custom micron. It's only $149.95, and you get something that you can do the same detail as a custom micron. Yes, Brad, this is the first time it has happened. It may happen a third time because it seems like there's a problem. I mean, I'm getting excellent connection. My internet is fine. So definitely sounds like it's a problem with the software. So hopefully people will come back. But thank you everyone for continue to try. So we're just going to continue working here like this. So what I'm going to do, let's work on the hair over here. So let's zoom out, and then we're going to work on her hair in here in this area. See, when you're working like this, we're always working on the ensemble. So we always want to make sure that we paint where we're ignoring, right? Or in areas that we're not paying as much attention. So we want to make sure in this area that with not much detail, we catch everything up. Wow, thank you, Patty. Patty says she was showing somebody that my airbrush was awesome. I appreciate that so much. Yes, it is definitely a micron killer without a doubt. I'll tell you, people who have purchased my airbrush, they stop using the micron. Several reasons. Number one, it's really great. It feels good. It's American made. It's sturdy. It feels like a real piece of equipment. So I love that. The parts are really super cheap. To replace a needle is like $10. To replace a nozzle is like $10. I don't know if you ever had a custom micron and the nozzle went. It's like $50. So there's a lot of reasons why when people purchase this airbrush, they do not go back to the microns or the Iwatas. And then thirdly, when you are working, when you do purchase this, I work with it for like an hour or so and test it out. So I don't know if you ever purchase something and it gets to you and it's just doesn't work, right? And that's so frustrating. Well, I put it together myself. I customize it, Not only that, and then I work with it for 3 hours. And if it's not in the way that my extreme custom airbrush is working, I don't send it out. So you're going to get one that is really tuned up by somebody who does like 6 hours a day. And let's see, Fred says, I'll have to look into getting one of these. Definitely. I sent it to the UK. You can definitely get parts. I can tell you different locations where you can actually purchase the parts for this. So that's fantastic. The arrow works for everything. My customized Extreme Patriot arrow, what you're going to learn when you use my inks, Paul, is how, and you're not going to learn this, they don't really talk about this, but how you need to reduce your acrylics is how the same viscosity of my ink. So it definitely works well with acrylic as long as you dilute it correctly. And like any airbrush, but this is a 0.30. So the exciting thing about this airbrush, when you have the custom micron, you have a 0.18. So that means you don't have the ability to get larger sprays, larger cones, because it's so small. And being a 0.8, it's going to clog a lot faster than my airbrush, which is a 0.30. But like I said, with my inks, you'll learn at the proper viscosity to dilute your acrylic. So that's very exciting. Hey Philip, how's it going? Thank you so much, my friend. So glad you're here. I'm so glad. That's great. And Paul says, okay, cool. And let's see else. Mike says that Paul, yes, it will work with acrylics. Pop, thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. And fantastic. Until I received Tim's inks, Fred said until he received my inks, he never knew how much he was under reducing. Yeah, we're talking like 20-1 or something crazy like that, right? But that's the way it is. And another thing, I'm going to say something controversial here, because that's the kind of guy I am, is that acrylic is not made for this. These airbrushes were invented for dyes, for inks, for watercolors. They were not invented for acrylic. Acrylic is just the, how do you say, acrylic is the industry standard, right? So what you want to do is you want to make the acrylics feel like inks, feel like dyes. Otherwise it won't work, because airbrushes were made. Hey there, Mr. Todd, good to see you. And let's see, Tone says he would strain the paint through, he would strain the paint in that Badger. Okay, cool. And let's see here, Patty C says, Fred, patience and practice. It's a good workhorse. Thank you so much, Patty. I really appreciate everyone's reviews, and you know, the best advertising is people who used it and are happy. And one of the things is I was in customer service for many years, so if you ever have any kind of issues or whatever, I always make it right. Always make it right. So I'm going to do something special for you guys today. Let's see. For those of you who are here, this is actually going to be pretty cool, since you know, the website is new, www.inkflingers.com. I am going to add something here. And let's see. It is going to be ink. Let me make sure I get this correct. I want to make sure, because I do have a coupon code for everybody, and that's going to be exciting. So I just got to make sure. I'm going to go to my website. Okay, so I'm going to put in, okay, so the coupon code is InkFlinger10, and that will give you 10% on your order. So that is really very cool. So let me make this smaller. and put this over here. So here's the coupon code InkFlinger10, and that will give you 10% if you decide. I mean, that would be the lowest that the Extreme Patriot Arrow ever was. So I would definitely jump on that. InkFlinger10 for 10% off. So that would bring the Extreme Patriot Arrow to around 135 or something like that, 136. So not a bad value at all. So that's the best price out there. Let me make sure I am back. Okay, cool. So once again, that is, if you don't see, I'll put it in the chat. Ink Flinger 10, and that's only going to be up until Friday. Okay. So very exciting thing that I'm offering. Thank you, Phil. I appreciate it. So I believe I have 7 available. So that's something to really consider too. Only 7 available. I'll be getting more in December, probably around the first week of December or something like that, which is good. Yeah, so definitely I think, and I'm not just saying this because I kind of sound conceited, but I would have to say that it's the best value in airbrushing right now as far as an airbrush to get. If you're a detail freak like me and you love getting detail, it's definitely the route to go. So you can see just how this airbrush is really just doing everything I want it to do. Of course, my live stream's not doing everything I want it to do, right? Oh, you're welcome, Blue. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, this is your airbrush that we're breaking in there, and the next airbrush is going to be for a Roy D. So that's the next person. I'm going to use that for the medium mixture, which is cool. Oh, Mike, so your day job is getting, oh, I see. So definitely you have to pay the bills. So that's definitely admirable, my friend. So thank you so much for hanging out and stopping by. Always a pleasure, my friend. Mike's a great friend to the channel and just an all-around very cool person. So great to see you, sir. So you see all this area, we have to work this in now. Just darken this up. Just work on the big shapes, right? Just sort of catch this up because this is an area that definitely needs a little work. It needs a little attention. Again, squint your eyes and work on those big shapes, and then we'll worry about coming in with the eraser and then to pull out the lights and then come in and get the dark accents with the light mixture, then the medium mixture, and then at the end with the dark mixture. Really make that pop, you know? And so Nameless wants to know what the next project is. I have no idea, right? I don't know. I'm really enjoying Jody right now. She's fantastic. One of the things with the Airbrush India inks that I sell on the website is that you rarely get tip dry as opposed to acrylic. Like I said, acrylic and airbrush were not made for each other. Really, watercolors was not really made for airbrush, but it's better than acrylic. But like inks and dyes is definitely what works best with the airbrush because of the viscosity. And one of the things a lot of the airbrush paint manufacturers don't talk about, not sure why, but who am I to judge? But they don't talk about how much you have to dilute these to be successful with this. And literally being successful, you'll feel like you're not able to airbrush because you're using their paints as is, as it comes out of the bottle, and you'll be fine for like the first 15 minutes to a half hour, and then all of a sudden it's just going to stop working, you know? Oh, good question. So Phil says, does the detail mixture replace the light mixture? No, that's the great thing. So basically, how it works now is you have the light, you have the detail, you have the medium, the detail, light, medium, and dark mixtures. So now it used to be 3, now it's 4, which is really great. So it gives you a wider range of grays, and not too many, because the detail mixture actually gives you even more control in the beginning, which is really fantastic and very important, you know. Now, someone asks, this painting is not for a customer, so it is available if everyone wanted it when it was finished. Yeah, this is just a pure pleasure painting, but basically I wanted to do a really nice painting to demonstrate, you know. So as you can see, I'm just working on the hair here, keeping things kind of caught up, right? And I'm going to use my freehand shield and protect a little bit of her skin here. And also I see some darks, so I'm just going to put them in. See that? And put in some detail here. You can use some freehand shields, get a nice hard edge over here. The thing about hair, much like when I was working on the glove, is that you want to make sure that you go ahead and be tenacious and stick with it, and don't get discouraged or try and rush it. It's a process. Don't try and rush it. Just work from light to dark, slowly bring that together, and you'll get to where you want to be. But you have to be patient and take your time. That's all. Just be patient. And continue with the 1 second rule, even with the hair. You know, I know the hair seems very broad and everything, but the 1 second rule is really going to help you. So continue with that 1 second rule and you'll be okay. Yes, exactly, Brad. So it goes detail, light, medium, and dark. So light really replaced kind of what the medium did before, and then detail, I mean medium is really for straightening the darks, and then at the very end going in with the dark mixture is still for the accents, right? So yeah, so it's great because the detail mixture gives us even added control in the beginning, which is fantastic. So I am going live here and testing out the other airbrush. So this is the second airbrush that I made, and I'm going to put in the light mixture, and this is the other customers. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the little boys' room for one moment, and I'll be right back, okay? So nature calls. I'll be right back. Hey everybody, I am back. Thank you so much for hanging out and waiting for me. I appreciate that so much. And yes, Brad's work is amazing. So that's neat. And it's okay. So I was going back to this other airbrush, and we're going to go ahead and put in the light mixture. So we're going to put the light mixture, which is the next step up from the detail. So how's the picture and the sound right now? Is it okay? Any weird feedback or anything? Okay, we are connected again. I don't know how it happened, but we are back. So those who stuck around, I really appreciate it. So can everyone see it? Just give me a hello that you can see it. This is just, hey, what's up there? John, how you doing? Yeah, this has been a crazy, crazy day, you know? So I have the the light mixture in the other airbrush I'm testing, and we're going to start putting in a little bit of the darks. So believe it or not, I don't know how long I'm going to be back for. It is a problem with XSplit, which is my broadcasting software. It keeps cutting out, so it keeps this, and I think that's a problem with them, so they definitely have to fix that, hopefully by next week. But usually my live streams are like really very tight. So we're going to go back to this right here. And now we're just going to work on some of the darker areas with the light mixture. And again, we're testing out the second customer's Extreme Patriot Arrow. And you can see with the light mixture, it's a little bit darker. And we're going to start always with the eyes first, and then we'll work out from there with this darker mixture. So we oh, thanks, Patty, it's good to see you. So did everyone see me? Thank you, sir. Talk to you tomorrow. So take care of those who have to go, like Patty. I hope you have a great night. Thanks for struggling with me through tonight's live stream. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to zoom in on the eye on the left. And let me go ahead and here we go. Okay. So we're just going to darken things up just a little bit. And let's go ahead. As you can see, the Extreme Patriot Arrow is definitely capable of getting tight detail. And this is what it's about, this technique, is you just ever so slowly you go from light to dark, right? Ever so slowly. And keep that 1 second rule. Very important. You're very welcome. Yeah, we have to roll with the punches, Ken. It's tenacity. It's like, I'm going to do this live stream and I'm going to make it quality. And, it's not always going to be easy, but it's how we handle it, right? That's the important thing. So as you can see, I'm just darkening it up just a little bit using that 1 second rule. There we go. And let's go on over to the other eye. And we'll just move over here. And we can darken that eye just a little bit as well. So we're going to keep this URL. I thought there was a new URL, but it actually logged me back into this live stream, which was really cool. So you can see that XSplit is doing things that really are not normal, like a live stream that was dead and then you were able to come back on, you know? And yes, I did step on the air hose. I still do that, you know? I'm like, uh-oh, what's wrong with my airbrush? And I have the chair on the air hose. I mean, I do that quite often, guys. I don't talk about it too much, but yeah, when I'm alone in my studio, I do some quite silly things. As you can see, we're just darkening this up with the light mixture. Just a little bit. See, we did get a little spidering. That happens. When that happens, the trick is to not get emotional about it and not do anything about it right away. Let that dry, and then once it dries, you can just take your eraser and you can actually start to remove it. Now, what's the interesting thing about this, since it's blown up, you can see it, but the naked eye you won't. And then this is a light area, so I'll be going over that with white pastel later anyway, so no big deal. So definitely spidering does happen to the best of us, but since that's blown up, that was the spidering that you really wouldn't see anyway to the naked eye. Okay, so let's move down to her nostrils, shall we? Let's come down here and see if we can darken those nostrils just a little bit. Let's see. Come right over here. I'm going to lower that air pressure because we are getting some spidering. With this Extreme Patriot Arrow, you don't need a MAC valve. You have the PAC valve, the Precision Air Control valve, which definitely does the same thing. So you don't have to have a MAC valve, which is good. So as you can see, we go in there and darken that up, which is good. And let's see what else we can actually go ahead and accent here with this light mixture, which is acting as the medium mixture used to. This is a little stronger dark here, so we're just going to come in here with this light mixture just to accentuate it a bit, you know. So I started shipping my packages via UPS, and which is different, except for international. International, I still do USPS, but for domestic, a lot of it I've been switching over to UPS, and it seems to be getting there a lot quicker, which is really fantastic. Paul says he's been there himself. Hey, Paul! Wow, Paul! Thank you so much, my friend. So, Paul, thank you. $20 super chat. That is just amazing. Stuff like that really helps the channel continue to grow, so I could, dedicate more time to this and purchase new equipment, like this camera here, and we can do interesting things and work on better sound and everything. So Paul, thank you so much. And once again, I really enjoyed the painting that you sent me the other day. That was really well done. The detail in the background and everything, just top notch, my friend. Really good. And let's see. So we're going to continue coming in with some of these darks because we did this with the detail mixture. And no matter how dark we go with the detail mixture, it's not going to be as dark as the light mixture. So the light mixture has a lot more ink in it, and so this way we can do some accentuating here. And right here. Oh, there's such beautiful edges here, which I love doing. So you see how she's coming together very slowly, and that's the way you want to paint. You want the painting to reveal itself. Phil says he just heard today that UPS is currently fully staffed and is not experiencing any delays. Actually, my packages with UPS has actually been getting there like in one day. I think it was 2 days for Kenneth in North Carolina, 1 day for another customer. So it's really going well. Wow, first portrait, Paul. That's amazing. And thank you so much, Colette. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. Colette says that she's coming out really well, and that's always nice to hear. So we're going to do that little corner of the mouth. Dun, dun, dun. It's going to be interesting. So let's zoom in on that so I can't fake it. So let's go ahead right in here. We getting any spidering? No, not really. Okay. And see how that just sort of comes in on this shape here. So that's good. Let's work on the other side because we have a nice dark on the other side of the corner of her mouth. Let's make this happen, everybody. This is where bravery and tenacity meet. You know, right in these little details. There we go. No spidering, thank goodness. Like I said, it happens to the best of us. Don't worry if it happens. Like I said, make sure that the area is dry before you go ahead and try and erase that spidering. The worst thing you can do is try and wipe it off. Unless you're working on a super slick surface, but I usually just let it dry and then deal with it. I don't want it to damage the paper. That would be far worse. So that's something you really want to look into. Oh, so where can you see Paul's work? Brad, thank you so much. Brad with the $10 super chat. Thank you, my friend. See, that's the stuff that is really, really great, and I appreciate the support. And it really helps more than you all know when you do that. Not only does it support me financially, so like I said, I can continue this. I can dedicate my time full time to the art and helping everybody, but it also encourages me and tells me I'm doing something right. And especially tonight when I kept coming back after it cut me off. So I'm not sure if XSplit's going to cut me off again, but at least I feel good that I had tenacity and keep trying. And if this continues, I'll just change my broadcasting software. So, but this is unlike anything that ever happened with XSplit. They're usually very good. I usually have a great time with them. So as you can see, now I'm actually enriching that hair and actually getting a little bit darker right here. And you see I don't have to worry about the glove because there's a really nice dark there, so it's not being affected, you know. Buy a Mac, yes, a big Mac, definitely. Let's see. So someone says her left eye doesn't seem centered. Could be, but it's still early, you know. That's the thing, because we have, see, the thing is, like right now, you can look at it, and thank you so much, Mr. Oxide, I appreciate it. So, you might be correct, but the thing is, we don't know until all the lights, we come in with the dark mixture and then the white pastel. So, very true, and I will keep an eye on that. So thanks for looking out. So that's something to be concerned about. But also it comes to the point, like let's say at this stage, you have to trust your drawing, but it's always good to have that second set of eyes. So I really appreciate that, Oxide. Well, I wouldn't say from scratch. I I have different techniques to get the image on the surface. First, I drew it out digitally, and then from there, I transferred my digital drawing onto the paper, and then from there, I used some of these shields I made, as you can see, for, let's say, the gloves. I made these. So when I paint the gloves, I basically only paint the gloves and isolating and not getting any kind of overspray. So it's a complicated process, but the ends justify the means, Oxide. So I appreciate that. And let's see. Blue says, don't jinx myself. Yes, with the XSplit, right? Oh no. Paul says, wife's dad passed away, so your wife's dad, so you drew and airbrushed a photo of him as a Christmas present. Oh no, it's really nice. Don't lessen that, Paul. I really like it. I was impressed last week when you had shown it to me. Blue says, no pun intended, right, Tim? Yes. And Phil says, trust the process. Yes. And father, okay, definitely the typo. Colette says, sorry for your boss, Paul. What a beautiful sentiment as a gift, definitely. I have some water. Let me go ahead and put some water. Once again, inkflingers.com is the new website. And you see, if you use Inkflinger 10, gives you 10% off. And now I'm going to continue. Let's go ahead and continue working on that hair. Remember last week we worked a lot on that glove and it paid off. And that's what we want to do now. We want to work on the glove. And Oxide said, make me an album cover. Oh, thanks, Oxide. Thanks so much for subscribing and giving your input on the eye and everything. I appreciate that. I'm going to take that. I'm going to definitely pay attention to that. And the album cover. Are you a musician, Oxide? That's cool. Yeah, it's all connected. Art, music, poetry, novels, right? It's all connected. Just going to work on darkening this hair. See that? And then we can come in and put in more detail with the erasers, which is really cool. Let's see, let's come in here. Like I said, since this glove is much darker, you don't have to worry about, covering that glove because there's this beautiful dark right there. So no worries. As you can see, we're catching up the hair, right? We're catching that up to everything else. But we have to catch it up value-wise, right? It's very important to catch that up value-wise. Once again, we're going to use our freehand shield and protect that little bit of her arm there. There we go. Make sure you wipe off your freehand shield. And let's go ahead and let's darken that glove a little bit, shall we? Just a little bit. Give it a little bit of a oomph, right? Just a tiny bit. Same thing here. The local color is black, so that means that we have to darken those lights. And let's see what else we can do here. Okay, so we concentrated on the hair a little bit. Over here, we can work a little bit on the hair here. Now, this second airbrush that I'm testing is working really well. As you can see, I can get tight detail. I can do large areas. And with the light mixture, it's even a little bit more difficult to control than the detail mixture, and I'm having a good time. So really, this is definitely passing the test. But I'll do more tests. I'll work with both of these airbrushes a little bit before I actually send them out. Really put it through the paces. And so, very cool stuff. So we're back to 15 concurrent viewers, which is great, you know. So people are coming back for more. So that's a good thing, you know, or the last one was good because I didn't have to change the URL. Roy, did you make it back to this one? I never seen you before. I'm not sure if Roy's still here. Hope so. Roy's doing some great stuff. Wow, Roy did this, was working on this amazing portrait. I was just so excited about it. There we go. See, now with this light mixture, I can really start, you know, getting some more contrast. And then we'll work on this for a little while. Hey, Paul, Roy is still here. Okay, great, sir. Yeah, doing some great stuff over there. So after this, we're gonna, so right now we're at the 11 o'clock hour almost, which is very good. Has been one of the more exciting live streams in recent past, because usually if I have a problem, it's usually a one-off, and maybe it happens every couple of months. But I think what the main occurrence is that they did an update not too long ago. And I don't know about you all, but whenever your computer program has an update, that's always a cause for concern, right? Because a lot of times the programmers will release it before it's ready. I think that happened here. Because I tried to log on to Facebook to do like a Facebook Live. This wasn't working out. And Facebook Live was down with XSplit. Yes, Blue, never a dull moment, that's for sure. Now, one thing, I've been a little behind on sending out the people who won the contest. But please bear with me. I'm going to be sending that out very shortly. I have a new work schedule, and I think that is going to work a lot better, and I won't get so overwhelmed. So expect your winning your prizes very soon, everybody. Okay. Definitely, I'm going to honor that and then some. Okay, so now you can see where, let's take a look at that eye and see, just as a, you know, hey, we all make mistakes. That might definitely be a case here. So let's see. I can see that the iris might appear. I'm going to come in with the detail mixture, everybody, and let's see if I can just come in a little bit with the dark there. And I think the problem is, and I think you're correct, Oxide, you see how this comes out and it's rounded, so it definitely should cut in further, Oxide, right? So I do agree with you there. So watch this. What do you think of that? That kind of fixed it, didn't it? And then you can see a little bit here, so it's good that, you know, that you gave your vision there. So that's great. So yeah, and let's look at the other eye and see how that's looking. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so a lot of times it has to do with the iris and the border on the iris that might make it appear that it's not centered, but you can definitely look at it again, right? Doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt to look at it again. So I think that's better. And this side looks a little bit off because the value is super light. And I'm just going to darken that iris a little bit. And I think, and then when we come in with the white pastel, that's really going to do wonders. So that's really good. So thank you always for everyone for joining and giving your input and everything. We're never too advanced to take advice, right? Never too advanced to hear. I remember my dad, God rest his soul, and he wasn't an artist at all. But I remember I would be working in my room when I lived with my parents, and I would come out like and say, "Hey, Dad, what do you think of this painting?" And he'll say, "The hand's too dark." And I'm like, "The hand's too dark? No, it isn't." And I would look at it, and then I would realize that he was correct. So yeah, always listen to people when they see something, because they might see it in a real, how do you say, we all see things in a fresh way. So always listen to, you don't always have to take the advice, but always listen to it, right? Always heed it, and see where there's validity there. Oh, thank you so much. Philip says, good feed. I appreciate that. And it pays off. Tenacity, building my website, that paid off. And sticking with this, that paid off. Again, a little bit of spidering. And what that is caused is definitely me having the air pressure too high. So once again, I'm just going to let that dry before I do anything. Because if I wipe it, chances are you could damage the paper. But once again, you don't see this really small. You don't see it with the naked eye. It's just you see it now. So in the detail, it's good, because now it is dry. I can come in with this eraser, and I can see if I can and you can see successfully we went ahead. So basically, it just means I have to lower the air pressure. So when you're changing the air pressure with the pack valve, you want to hold down the air so you can feel it, and then just lower that just a little bit, and then you can see you lower that air pressure, you're going to get a lot less spidering. So right over here, let's take a look and see what we have. Just a little tiny bit right here. We could just lighten that up, and then we can go back over it. So do a little bit of a repair job, right? Just a little repair job, that's all. And let's see, I think this is the detail mixture. Yeah, this is the detail mixture. That was a light mixture. Just a little bit of a repair job. And just come in here. Never be in a rush, everybody, to finish it. So let's see here. Okay. And just pull this over. There we go. So as you can see now, when I come in for tight detail, and you can see that the spidering has stopped because I'm able to adjust it. You see that? So it's all about adjusting. But that's the great thing about the custom micron. The Extreme Patriot Arrow. The custom micron doesn't have a pack valve, but this one does. So you can get more detail by actually adjusting that air pressure at really close to the nozzle, and that gives you that real fine detail, which is great, And let's see. And over here. Okay, so let's pull out just a little bit here. And there you go, as you can see. And let's go ahead and make more of a transition of the forehead to the center. You want to have a little more transition. And we're not quite there yet where we're following the grain of the skin, but we're getting there, right? And we'll be talking about, like right here in this cheek here, you'll see that we're following the grain of the skin. So that's kind of an advanced thing, but that's something I talk about a lot in my live streams, and I also talk about it in in my mentorship classes. Let's see here. Okay, and let's go ahead and zoom out and see where we can actually work a little bit more. So now that we have the hair a little bit, let's see if we could just start using the eraser a little bit to go ahead and pull out some of the detail areas of the hair, right? Just a little bit. Like I said, hair is something that you work throughout the painting, right? You're not gonna try and fix it. I think that's the wrong way to approach it. You don't want to finish the hair. Let's see. Just pull this out, and now you can start assimilating the hair into the background, which is really beautiful. See this? See that? You can actually start assimilating. Let me see if I can lighten it a little bit so you can see what I did. Nope, it doesn't show because the background's so dark. But you just sort of assimilate that into the background, and then we're just pulling out these lights here. Now remember, I cut the aggressive eraser. I cut that aggressive eraser at a 45-degree angle, which is allowing me to go ahead and get these really, really beautiful hair-like lights and hard edges nonetheless. So what's the most important thing with hair is making sure you get the direction or the angle correct. That is so important. There we go. So you see how we're getting much better detail with that hair. Let me make sure I have the airbrush with, this is the detail mixture, and this one has the light mixture. Yes. It's really beautiful how these airbrushes are working. So that's a good thing. And I just want to get that hard edge here of her hair. So I'm just going to here. Perpendicular, not parallel. That's so important. It's very important. Let me go ahead and accentuate this dark here. So, PSI is so important, right? You know how I found the best PSI? Not that anyone told me. No one had told me about PSI. What helped me with PSI was one day I turned off my compressor but didn't realize it. As I was spraying from like 35, 40 PSI, as it was going down, the air pressure was going down, and when I was at 25 and lower, that's when I had the most control. So that's why I used 25 psi. So I found that out by accident, actually, which is cool. So we're just going to continue working on the dark of her hair here. So you see how it's coming together. I'm going to come in with the medium mixture and assimilate her hair with the background. So you have to have patience. And you know, the thing is, when you're working in this kind of technique, you have to have you have to be very, very patient, because that is what's going to get you, being patient is going to allow you to build up texture slowly. And you need to build it up slowly. You can't do it super fast, right? So you need to build up that texture slowly. So once again, my new website is www.inkflingers.com. Inkflingers 10 is good until Friday, 12 o'clock Friday. And that gives you 10% off of everything, including the Extreme Patriot Arrow. So this is definitely the time to jump on that. Just continuing. So here you can see how light this is, but that's not good. So it's not that bright. So we're just going to knock that back a little bit. As you can see, the direction, you know, the distance that I am away, which is good. Just knocking back those lights. You want everything to build up slowly, right? So it's been a crazy night for our live stream, definitely. But you know what it is? You just have to stick with it, right? Right, Tone? You know, it's not what happens to us, it's what we do and how we handle it. That's the main thing, you know. But as far as the painting, I'm happy, very happy with the way the painting's coming out. I don't know, what do you guys think? You like the way it's coming out? So, you know, it's not always a fast thing, it just takes time. And so you just slowly build her up, and then she's gonna come out really beautiful. And like Mike said, is you have to trust the process. So I don't know what people were talking about crow. What were they saying about crow? Something about crow. What does that mean, guys? I'm kind of lost there. Sometimes I'm a little slow on the uptake. So what was the crow about? Okay, so you see how she's coming out slowly? So now that I went ahead and worked on that again, thanks, Brad. I appreciate that, sir. Little by little, we're getting there. So once again, we just want to work on all of the hair together. Somebody ate a crow? That's pretty funny. Thanks, Paul. I appreciate that, my friend. And you see how we can just bring in these lights here, which is really cool. Hey, I have 40 years experience, my friend. I'm not eating crow. That's 40 years of experience painting. I'm not eating crow. If I make a mistake, that is just part of the process. But that's not me eating crow, my friend. You got it all wrong. So basically, what I teach is also the fact is that your painting process is like an organic thing. So you're always adjusting, but it's not eating crow by any means whatsoever. So don't get that twisted, guys. Okay. So as you can see, we're working on that hair very slowly, right? Very, very slowly. And that's what we want to do. And it's like an adjustment period. You're always adjusting. There we go. Again, over here, we're adjusting. We're going with the darker airbrush, the light mixture, and setting up for the medium mixture. So each thing is a setup. And, you know, a lot of things, when we're doing areas like this, you don't want to adjust too much because, like was said before, you have to trust the process, right? So you can't in midstream second guess yourself. You have to trust that process. And that's very, very important. So, adjustments are good. Adjustments are important. It's not a bad thing. So you see how we're working on this hair? See how it's coming out? See how very slowly? Now I can start coming in and going in with detail, but that would be ridiculous, because the thing is, you have to make sure that you make it develop in its own time. Your painting is going to decide how long it's going to take. Your paintings decide how detailed you're going to go at that time. So, when we go ahead and want to rush in or want to make it look good, that's when our weaknesses show. And that's where our tenacity and our patience need to really, really come forward, right? So like I said, I could definitely look at this and say, okay, it's not coming as fast as I want. But there are no points for speed. Where is that? There's no points for speed. We're not sprinters here. We're marathon runners. Once you sign that painting, that's forever, right? So take your time while you're working, and always be willing to adjust. That's a good thing. That's a feather in someone's cap when they adjust. It's when people don't adjust and say, "Hey, that's good enough." That's the problem. That's where the trouble lies in art, right? And also stay humble. Humble is very important. Humble and eating crow are two totally different things. Not even close. Not even in the same zip code, right? So, it's important that we always, always, always are willing to adjust. Always, always willing to go ahead and make it better. That's a strength in art. That's a strength in anything that we do. Let me see here. So like I said here, these two airbrushes are working so wonderfully. And so that's really good, because that's many years of testing this airbrush and everything like that. And so that really all comes together here, which is really cool. So let's see what else we have here. So as you can see here, we definitely can work on this area. This area, for some reason, is an area that kind of is not getting as much attention. Oh no, I'm not taking offense to it at all. I just think that the whole idea of working and correcting, that's a strength as an artist. That's something we have to do. We always have to do that. There we go. So you see how I'm actually coming in with some detail here, which is really good. I'm able to do that with this eraser. That's the great thing about the inks and the paper, is that I can actually come in and get detail with the eraser, not just with the ink, which is very important. So you see how we can really bring that in, but not too much detail. We don't want to do too much detail. Too much detail will go against the whole idea of working from light to dark and slowly building things up. Always continue pushing your technique, continue working forward. Let's come down here and just bring this dark right over here. There we go. So again, it's I'm pretty happy with with how it's coming out. I'm not worried so much about how far I've gotten. That's not as important to me as the process. Make sure both these airbrushes look identical, so I have to find out which one is the light mixture, which one is the detail mixture, right? So let's go ahead and see what the next thing should be. Okay, so right here we can probably pull in some of this edge again. Be careful because this gets wet, right? And it'll wet up it'll actually leave moisture on your freehand shield, and then you'll just move it, and then you'll just move it along. So you got to be careful. Okay, so right now we're at 11:20. 11:20. We have a little time left here, so let's go ahead and just continue working here in the hair. We don't have much time left, so we'll just see if we could, just with the light mixture, see how the hair looked very sparse in this area when we started. So we did come far, which is good. Hey John, have a good night. Thanks so much for coming by, my friend. And so I hear you guys had snow over there in Wisconsin last week. And Brad over in Canada got snow. So yeah, so we haven't got not even a flurry here in New York City, nothing. Just going to continue making, let's make some dark accents over here. You just keep pulling that up, making those details, and then. So Tone says, "Will I edit the feeds and combine them for one video?" That might be a good idea, right? I think I might do that. That's if time is permitting. You know, so many different things are on the docket, so to speak. So that's definitely an idea. So thanks for that, Tone. Definitely. It's not too bad. It's just it's like getting all the videos together, downloading on the system, and then just putting it in my software. So yeah, it's a little it's time consuming. That's the thing. I have to make sure I get my other stuff done before I can go ahead and do that. You know. But I have other videos that I'm making right now. A lot of other stuff, a lot of projects going. So we are at 11:23. We have 7 minutes. I always try to give a full 3 hours, even though this time has been kind of challenging, to say the least. Let's go ahead and pull that out. So each of these airbrushes, I'll probably go ahead and work a little bit more on a different painting, a personal painting, just to make sure that it works under all conditions before I send them out. And so I have a big checklist where I'll go ahead and check the valve, I'll check the needle packing. A lot of times when you buy an airbrush from whatever company, the needle packing will be too tight. And if it's too tight, the needle can't go through and it doesn't flow when you pull back the needle. And then if the needle packing is too loose, what happens is the ink goes from here and actually goes into your trigger, which causes a lot of problems as well. So there's a lot of problems with that. So I check the needle packing. I also go ahead and use chapstick. One of the things I recommend, I used to use plumber's tape, and with plumber's tape, I use that, but it caused problems. So I found that whenever I get a new airbrush, or I set up a new airbrush for a customer, I always use chapstick, and that works perfectly, and it just seals it up. And just a little bit of air leak, like let's say you have a little bit of air leak over here, that could cause a lot of different problems. You can get irregular spray. You would think that it's you, but if not, it's really not. It's really the fact that your airbrush has air leaks, and a little bit of chapstick really goes a long way. So that's really cool. So we're at 11:25. So we're losing people. So I understand it's 11:30 at night. I appreciate everyone who followed along. That's really cool, and very appreciative of that. So thank you so much, everybody. And let's see. Okay. Can you use something like Vaseline? I wouldn't, because I would definitely use this, because you can just rub it a little bit on the threads, and it seems to work perfectly. I got this at the dollar store, so you want to look for a lip balm that has no flavor, and the cheaper the better. It doesn't have a lot of moisturizers or anything like that, so this is probably the best. Vaseline, you might be accidentally using too much, so the chapstick actually kind of protects you from using too much, which is good. And let's work here a little bit. Oh, thank you, Paul. I appreciate that. Paul says that the hair is starting to pop. It's something that we're going to be working on through the whole painting, Paul, right? Definitely, definitely. So Brad says it's not you, it's me. I don't know. What does that mean, sir? Beeswax. Beeswax, I hear good things about beeswax, but I'm always afraid about... oh, thank you so much, Brad. I appreciate that. I'm always afraid of lighting it, but that's just me, But, people with experience like yourself, Phil, you really do a good thing. Well, thank you so much, Brad. I appreciate it. It's coming together. And have a great night there, Mr. Brad. Thank you so much for the super sticker. That is fantastic. I appreciate that so much. Like I said, it allows the channel to grow and to have different angles, and so all those different things really makes it possible with the super chats, purchasing items online, that sort of thing. Really helps. It helps in an immense way. I have online mentorship classes, which is incredible. It's only $100 a month, and it gives you 1 2-hour class working with a project side by side with me, and a group class. So it's 4 hours of classes a week for only $100 a month. And what Colette once said is that a lot of times there's 5 weeks in a month, but you still only get charged at $100, which is fantastic. Oh, someone used, okay, so that's pretty cool. So definitely. So Phil says, thank you, Tim. It can burn. You melted it, I've melted it into the threads and no issues to date. Wow, that's great. No, I think it's your experience, Phil. That's the thing. You just have to be careful with that. So I would like to definitely have, before I use that technique, I would definitely want to really do research, maybe ask somebody like yourself. Definitely. So we are at 11:29. We're getting close to the end of the live stream. This was crazy, everybody. Thank you so much for sticking with me. We have 9 of you left. And so we had 3 separate live streams, knocked out twice. So this has been unbelievably adventuresome today. So thank you so much, everybody, for taking the time to hang out with me. And thank you for the 2 people who purchased these airbrushes. See them right here. That's what I was working with today. 2 airbrushes that are going to 2 different customers who purchased a customized Stream Patriot Arrow from me. And you can see what it does. You can see how the airbrush works. You can just see the amount of detail that I'm able to get. And it has to do with the inks, it has to do with the airbrush, and it has to do with patience and tenacity. That is key. All of that is so important. So definitely the take back from tonight is tenacity, keep working, keep checking, keep making sure that you have different eyes looking at it. That always helps. If you have other people in your household or something like that, or artist friends, that's good. And thank you, Phil, and everyone, nameless subscriber. Paul, thank you so much. After the holidays, take the class. Yes, Paul, that would be fantastic. So thank you, Paul, Philip, nameless, Brad, and Paul, thank you so much for the super chat. That is a great help. Thanks, Tone. Thanks, John. I think you left. Let's see if Colette made it. Blue, if you're still here. Color Graphics, Roy, thank you. Let's see who else was here. Mickey, how you doing? I didn't notice you. How you doing if you're still here? Sorry I missed you with all the craziness of the live streams going in and out. But Kenneth, I was so glad you're here too. I don't know if you're still here, sir. And anyone I missed, Air Todd and Patty. We had Fred here, which was really great. John Payne, Mike DeLoach, Wendy was here for a while. So yeah, everyone who was here in any of the 3 live streams tonight, thank you so much for hanging out. And I hope you have a great rest of the week and great weekend. Take care, everybody. Now I'm going to turn off this live stream on purpose.